What's up, everybody? This is Fred Ricciani of TSC News here to discuss the rumor about the XFL returning to television or online or some form of media, let alone existence. At the Brad Shepard on Twitter, he broke the story that the XFL may be coming back. Actually, he broke the story that the XFL is outright coming back. David Bixenspan of Deadspin.com reached out to WWE, and WWE's answer didn't sound like a denial to me. Quote, Vince McMahon has established and is personally funding a separate entity from WWE, Alpha Entertainment, to explore investment opportunities across the sports and entertainment landscapes, including professional football. Mr. McMahon has nothing further to announce at this time. Very interesting. That sure as hell doesn't sound like a denial. Now, for those that don't remember, the XFL lost a ton of money. I think around $70 million for its lone season. I believe it was a partnership between NBC and WWE. It also aired at the time on UPN, which was another TV partner of WWE's, where they aired SmackDown. And boy, oh boy, was it a failure. The ratings were pretty strong the first week, but the football absolutely, positively sucked. It didn't help that the guy running it, Vince McMahon, didn't seem to be familiar with the current landscape of football. And it was just all over the place. And at the end of the day, whether you love American football or not, there's few things worse than really bad football. That being said, 15, 16, 17 years later, I think the XFL could work in 2018. But, and this is a big but, it all depends on their approach. If this is just a way for Vince McMahon to get tweets from his good friend Donald Trump and to show fans that don't care about social justice issues, hey, we're going to force our players to stand and blah, 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 then the league's going to flop. Okay, if you're just catering to people that like Donald Trump or don't like people that don't stand for the flag, that to me sounds like an abject failure. If you're going to cater to people that don't like the current NFL product, that want something that's a little more smash mouth, a little more, I guess, millennial friendly, with a better social media approach than the NFL, I think it could work. Imagine a league where you had the likes of Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, dare I say Colin Kaepernick. I think that'd be an awesome league. Maybe you could bring back Hate Me from the Dead, which, by the way, according to David Bixenspan and Chris Harrington, WWE has filed for a trademark. And he's, last time I checked, only 40. He could still play. I would love to see Vince Young back in the fold. Maybe Reggie Bush, who just retired, would say, you know what? I'll give it another go in the XFL. If you're willing to bring back guys that are stars that still might have some playing ability and some name value with some altered rules to make it maybe a faster-paced game, I think it'd be great. But if this is solely a league that's going to be launched to cater, let's face it, primarily white Republican voters and people that, again, don't care about, the issues that Colin Kaepernick and others are protesting, I think it's going to flop. I think you need to keep the politics out of it. I think you need to accept the fact that a majority of football players in college and in the pros are black, are minorities, and let them do whatever the hell they want and protest however the hell they want. And you let your talk, you let the message you want to send about the league and how it's different, you let it speak for itself on the actual football field. Now, that's where there's another issue. How the hell is this league going to succeed, not just in the short term, but in the long term? Short term, if they can get that TV money, that other revenue stream, that's great. That's good for them. At the same time, even if Vince McMahon is quote-unquote using his own money, he's the WWE chairman. There's going to be shareholders that are going to say, well, wait a minute. He's not fully interested in WWE, and that's going to cause the stock price, which at the moment is at an all-time high, to go down, which could affect the core business. And if his core business is being negatively affected, you better believe that his side business is going to be negatively affected. But if he can get that TV rights money, that's great. But that's also half the battle. The other part of the battle is surrounding yourself with people that understand what football fans want, what young fans want, being able to cater to a young audience. It's great to cater to adults. Don't get me wrong. I'm an adult myself. But you want to cater to a younger, hipper audience as well with the NFL. I really do believe that. And kudos to WWE. I'll say this, over the years, the last couple of years, even with the affiliation with the president and everything else, which is controversial, they've largely kept the politics out of it, which I think is good, because at the end of the day, they have a very diverse fan base. And I think it'd be in the best interest of a guy like Vince McMahon to enlist the services of a Snoop Dogg, who he's worked with on WWE 2K18, to enlist the services of a Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, who I believe curated last year's video game soundtrack. If you surround yourself with guys like that, on top of some other business people behind the scenes that understand the current landscape, I think this has a legitimate chance of succeeding. But if this is solely a vanity project for Vince McMahon to show that he is not a failure, to rub it in people's faces that the XFL can succeed, and a way to show, God damn, how patriotic we are. Frankly, based on his track record, with all of his outside wrestling ventures, whether it be the World Restaurant, whether it be the Bodybuilding Federation, whether it be the original XFL, based on that reputation alone, I think it would fail. But hey, I'm all for an alternative sports league. I'm all for a sports league that's willing to give guys a chance, allow guys to make a living. I'm all for that. That being said, you also got to remember something too. The NFL has this stigma of already being unsafe. It has this stigma of, being negligent with concussions and everything else. And WWE's been very lucky legally to have a lot of these lawsuits thrown out and all that jazz. But who's to say that WWE, when Vince McMahon in particular and the XFL and Alpha Entertainment, wouldn't be liable if people got injured? Are they going to have the same protections that the NFL has? Are they going to be able to afford the same legal team that the NFL has? This, on one hand, it seems like a great time to get into football if you're a billionaire and you're willing to put in the work and time. On the other hand, this sounds like a terrible time because of, again, everything I mentioned politically, and also with the stigma of how unsafe the NFL and the sport of football in general is at this time. So it's going to be interesting. But again, I'll reiterate, I would like to see the XFL come back. I would like to see an opportunity for guys to make a living beyond the NFL and for a true alternative. I think it'd be a lot of fun if they keep the faux patriotism out of it, if they keep the political BS out of it, and if they, again, just let the players be themselves, turn the volume way up, kind of like the original intention of the XFL, and present a true alternative. But ultimately, let's face it doesn't matter where you politically lean. It doesn't matter how you feel about everything going on. At the end of the day, it's about the product on the field. And if that sucks, I don't care who you voted for. Most people ain't watching. But folks, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the XFL? What do you think about Vince McMahon potentially sinking in millions upon millions of dollars again for this league? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you enjoyed this update, please like, share, take care. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications. And stay tuned this Sunday night for our live Clash of Champions recap.